What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here in this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, a little bit of a follow-up to the video I did a while back about reward cards for Splinterlands potentially being a long-term problem. Now, there's a lot of really good discussion from that. I'm still answering a lot of the comments to that, but one thing that has popped up and has been crossing my mind and seems to be part of the discussion is, just obviously the sustainability, right? The business model for the team is to sell packs in the form of cards, but you can also win cards within the ecosystem that can potentially replace or make irrelevant the cards that the team is selling. So I want to talk about doing some kind of massive makeover. And I know there's a little bit of a just join me in Fantasyland for a second, right? It's more just a thought experiment, and I don't even know if Splinterlands, the game, would survive a pivot like this just because you see all the pushback. But I think it's worth considering, and I think it's worth at least talking about to see where community sentiment would be. And I'd like to present you with an example that I think makes actually a lot of sense, even if it's going to rub you the wrong way for whatever reason. And that is GLS, right? Or GLG, Genesis League Goals. So what am I getting at here? And before I even jump into this, just understand that I am not fully up to date with anything that's going on with GLG. So if my information is out of date at this point, please forgive me. But conceptually, it's all still relevant, right? So just follow me here with what I'm saying. When it comes to Splinterlands, and we're seeing this right now with Rebellion, you can buy cards, and you have to buy cards, right, or rent cards in order to then earn cards, which you can use to play with that ultimately give you, value in the game and help you to earn more cards, more SPS and all that. But at a certain point, your collection is wide enough that you can probably play the game decently competitively, and I'll raise my hand, right, as somebody who has mostly Chaos Legion reward cards, to be able to play in like Champion and Wild. I mean, maybe the ratings inflation I'm still benefiting from, and I'm expecting to go down, but I'm not like losing a bunch, and I'm not at the bottom of the barrel by any means. Now, granted, maybe people can pass me easily if they all come in, but that's besides the point. I'm still enjoying where I'm at with this without having to buy any more packs. And with Rebellion reward cards potentially around the corner later this summer, I'm just going to be adding to my collection by playing the game. I don't have to do anything. So what I wanted to take a look at was the GLG side of things, and this is my understanding of it, right? You have to buy the players as cards, level them up, do all that stuff. The team sells that, right? The GLS team, they sell, or Invenian team, they sell those packs. You can only get cards, you can only get players from the team. The rewards that you get for playing the game come in the form of skills and add-ons that you can throw onto your players, right? Whether it's gear, whether it's abilities, whatever it is, they are add-ons. They are not replacements. They are not equal. They are add-ons to what you have, right? So they enhance your experience without replacing the need for you to go to the team and pay the money, since that is their business model. Again, just conceptually, that to me is perfect, right? Now, and I know GLG is like not what anybody expected it to be, and it's again, I'm not talking about the execution of the project. I'm just talking about the concept. And the best parallel that I can give to that for Splinterlands would be items and spells, right? What we should have for Splinterlands is items and spells in the reward chests, right? Those should be the things that you can get because they will enhance your gameplay experience and then add to that second level. Now, obviously, we're not there. We don't have items and spells in the game, and there's like people won't even be able to grasp what I'm saying because they're like, no, items and spells are meant for land. I'm just like, just forget about land for a second, right? Just look at the TCG. I don't have anything else to think about in terms of like, what's that called? In terms of add-ons. The only other thing, and this literally just popped in my head right now, is skins. And maybe that's where the team is going with this, right? Where skins could be things that you win. And if they're skins that are not just aesthetic, but functional, right? So I gave the example many videos ago about being able to get a skin for Jin O'Shaughnessy that allows you to increase his magic attack by 1, but then you have to reduce your health by 1, right? So all of a sudden, if you put that skin on your O'Shaughnessy and somebody's playing with a stock O'Shaughnessy, your card is actually different. It reacts and acts differently within the course of a battle. So, again, maybe that's the direction that they go, maybe it's not. My whole point with this is that the business model isn't really sustainable because you're not incentivizing people to go and buy the base level cards from you because they can get base level cards from playing the game. And this is kind of why the Wild Season Pass was instituted in the first place. And you could, if you roll things back far enough, it's like, oh, well, had this been done differently from the beginning, we never would have needed a Wild Season Pass. I mean, maybe we would have, right? But at the end of the day, it's just like, people wouldn't have access to all these cool cards. If let's say somebody bought Untamed, for example, like only Untamed and Beta, and then they stopped with Chaos Legion, but they still earned all these Chaos Legion cards, right, that they could use that are super powerful for the meta. And I'm not even looking at the first 2 sets of Chaos Legion rewards. I'm just looking at, Kulu Mastermind here, Ava the Undaunted, all the Martyr cards that are coming in, right? Coastal Sentry, Swamp Spitter, cards that I play very often. Avis, Iziar. These are all fantastic cards that are very much a part of the current meta and probably will be a part of some meta, in the foreseeable future. Which, again, brings me back to my point that it's just like, it would be so different if people who bought only in, Untamed or Beta, they didn't have access to these cards because these cards didn't exist. What existed was cool little add-ons, right? So maybe you could augment certain things or, and actually skins aren't the best example for this. Like, it really would have been items and spells. So items and spells come in, but they're only a piece of the game, right? Like, you could have the best spell in the game, but if you don't have the Coastal Sentry for that and Possibilis for that, nasty reach trample combo, well, then you're never really going to get far, right? That's what I'm trying to get at here. So hopefully you guys can understand the analogy that I'm using when it comes to GLG and why I think that setup is actually better. And hopefully they're able to get things off the ground there. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to make that shift here in Splinterlands. Reward cards have just been so ingrained as part of the culture, but really, as the game scales up, they act as such a detriment for even OGs that like to spend money in the game. Right? It becomes such a barrier because it's like, well, I don't really need to do anything. I don't really need to spend anything. I just need to play the game to continue adding to my collection. And to, I'll end the video by saying this. Maybe that's the novelty of it. Maybe that was the intention. Maybe that will remain the intention because there is a cool factor to that, right? There's a cool element to it where it's just like, yeah, like, as long as I play the game, I can add to my collection. Sure, I can buy new stuff in the future, but I don't have to, right? I can always play in Wild. Now I pay the Wild fee, and that's that. But from a sustainability model for the team, and hopefully the team is able to find other ways to generate revenue in the future, it's like you're competing with yourself. And, like, this is the crazy part to me, because I know the people that are making these cards, right? Like, they're making 2 sets of cards. Look at Rebellion, for example. Many people got paid, right, by the team, that there were expenses for the team to create Rebellion cards and then also create Rebellion reward cards, and they only benefited from one of those while paying expenses for both. And not only that, not only did they only get benefits from one, but as I said earlier, the second one, the one that's free, is going to cannibalize the first one even more. So, I don't know. That's just where my head is at. Maybe we can think outside the box and try to find other solutions. Maybe the team is thinking through other ways to generate revenue. But when I look at it in that way and I look at the model that Invenium or GLG has, I'm like, that model makes way more sense. Because if somebody wants to come in and play the game, they need to buy the base level cards, right? And then they can go win the rewards and add to their experience. But over time, like, if they want to continue playing at the highest levels or in the newest leagues, they got to go buy the cards, and then they can win the stuff to add value to the game on top of that. And I just don't know, outside of items and spells, if we'll ever get something like that. Because you can't flip now and say items and spells are going to be part of the rewards given out. And landholders would freak, rightfully so, right? Like, that would be awful. So I don't know if there's another element that could be added to the game, almost like a third element that could be added to the game, that replaces reward cards with something that is equally cool, game-altering, entertainment, or entertaining, while not making people feel as though they are losing out on something. So that's all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.